Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Nitai Guru Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Guru Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Shri Radha Krishna Bhagwan Ki Jai, Prabhupada Ki Jai, Bhagwan Jai. So welcome to everyone, and today's session, just seek your blessings and your um, best wishes so that I can deliver this, and by Krishna's mercy that I can expand on this and share some realizations and with this session, and love you to participate in it. Although this is like a part 3, but I did a session last weekend, and Prabhu asked me to do something Saturday and Sunday, and did like a part 1 and a part 2, which was like on looking into how Krishna is being merciful. And like I went through this very, very quickly, so I won't go through in part 1, part 2. I just want to go further and what we can discuss today, because we're talking about mercy and how in Kali Yuga, because it says in this verse here that religious, truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, duration of life, they're all actually diminishing. So there is very little mercy these days. People don't show much mercy, not towards each other or even towards the animals, or so it's a very ruthless kind of age that we're living in. But in that age, we still have some sort of a silver lining, as you say, or a good opportunity for us to experience and gain and take advantage of the mercy that comes in the form. So, we did sing, I won't go through all this because I went through all this thing. So this one is very important verse. I'll just go through this very quickly. To show them special mercy, dwelling in their hearts, destroying. So you say, Krishna said, to show them mercy, this is what Bhagavad Gita. So obviously Krishna is speaking, giving guidance and knowledge, and getting Arjuna out of illusion, and so perplexity is perplexity. So to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So we are in the darkness, and then to show them special mercy. So that's what we talked about, how Krishna is, being very merciful and dwell in our own hearts. So we don't realize that, Krishna is already there, dwelling in our heart. Yes, Riyansh Prabhu, go on. Did he put his hand up?
I want to recite the shloka.
Yes, go on. Then it'll be very nice. Riyansh, go on.
तेषामेव अनुकम्पादमहमज्ञानजं तमः नास्यन्तात्मिभावस्तु ज्ञानदीपेन भास्वता.
Wonderful. Thank you. So you can do that. Yeah, there'll be a few others readings you can do. So we explained this, I won't go through all these purports, but I did ask you to, when you read purports, do pick out some themes that you can come into your mind. Like in this verse, there's Lord Chaitanya mentioned. So do we know anything about Lord Chaitanya? What do we know? Then I also said, like Mayavadi philosophers. So why did Prabhupada mention Mayavadi philosophers in this purport? What do I know about them? Why does he mention them? So like that, I ask you to sort of, Vedic principles is another one that's mentioned there. So as you're reading, you can focus on that and say, oh, what do I know about Vedic principles? What are they? What does it mean actually? So in what way? So Krishna is, rather Prabhupada is actually mentioning all these things in the purport, and it obviously it's to guide us and to make us realize what it is. So like, derided Lord Chaitanya. What does that mean? Who derided? Like Prakash Anand, he derided Lord Chaitanya, but then as what's his name? Last week he said how Prakash Anand actually surrendered to Lord Chaitanya when he realized who Lord Chaitanya was, and then thousands of his followers also became followers of Lord Chaitanya. So we covered all these things. I'm not going to kind of go through all this. We'll miss that. I'm going to go to the part where we talked about sorry about this, but you can always go back to this if you. So this part here. So how and in what way is Krishna showing his mercy to all living entities? So obviously he said he's from within the heart. He's already there, and we read that verse just now. So instructions. So again, there is a deity form. He's showing his mercy by coming in the form of wood, metal, or whatever. He takes on the form, and in a deity form, we start to worship him, and he accepts our service in a deity form, just like, Prabhupada explains how that, there's two bins looking the same. One is colored red in our country anyway, and that is supposed to be a letterbox. And there's another one which is black, and that collects all the rubbish. So if there is rubbish, we put that in there. And if there is a letter you want to post to somewhere, you put it in the red box. So it's like a letter that's an official post office box, and it's a post office box which accepts your letter and it gets delivered. So deity form is like that. It's an official form, but Krishna is showing his mercy in a deity form, and he accepts our service, and whatever we offer does get delivered. It does reach Krishna in the way. So Krishna accepts that with a link. So that's another form. A guru appears in our life at some point. There are so many different forms of guru. We can say our Mata Pita, they're the first gurus. They start to teach us, teach how to walk. And then there's the toughest challenge we overcome is learning how to walk. And we fall down so many times, but still they encourage us and guide us. And so we as guru, and then after that, there are so many other gurus. So the Bhagavatam and the Shastras mentioned there are so many different types of gurus. Even Dharti Mata can itself be a guru. You can learn anything from any, even a bird or a snake can teach you something. and you learn. So anything can be a guru, but obviously to make advancement in spiritual life, you need Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and ultimately, Krishna is the original guru, and other gurus are just representing him. That the bona fide guru, we have to look for a bona fide guru. So when we're praying, and the last time we discussed all these things, that Krishna, to show mercy, comes in the form of a holy name. He in his sound representation is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when we say that mantra, Krishna is non-different from that holy name. And that is his mercy, just to be kind to us. He's allowing us to, chant this Maha Mantra. The more we chant, the more we start to realize and understand. So we'll understand. Prasadam, when we offer prasad, Krishna accepts that, and he said in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Pharam Toyam, offer me with the love, with leaf, water, so in a flower, and then I'll accept, water. So whatever we offer becomes prasad. Sometimes we get prasad from a spiritual master. He leaves, or like Prabhupada used to be, and our Guru Maharaj also used to be in the habit of, at the end of the class, we all line up, and he would be giving a nice cookie or biscuit or a burfi or something like that, or an apple sometimes, or fruit, whatever we've arranged for him to distribute. And he loves distributing all that. And that is his prasad. And we used to all look forward to that, looking to receive that prasad, And I've had that many times, and I know children love it, and that prasad from the hand of a sadhu or a spiritual master is very, very special. And I used to keep some so I can give it to the rest of my friends or family members and all that. So I don't want to eat it, I want to give it to other people as well, and you share it like that. So then hearing about Krishna, that is how in one way his mercy is being bestowed upon us. When we're sharing all of our experiences like this now, we're also, that's his mercy. Krishna's mercy comes in the form of Guru's instructions, and sometimes it's not instruction, but it's chastisement as well. And then, Krishna has appeared within this Kali Yuga as Gaur Nitai and Panch Tattva and all these other associates to shower his mercy upon all the living entities and delivering people like Jaga and Madha. And we learn from that how Krishna has been merciful as Lord Gauranga. So we in that way we are very fortunate. So we went through all this last time. I wanted you to sort of share some of these things. And then, so in how and in what way is Krishna showing mercy to all living entities? But it says here, like, Mame Vansha Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. The Lord said the living entity is a part and parcel of me. But they want to enjoy this material world. This is Prabhupada actually speaking in one of his talks. And Prabhupada is saying that, the Lord says the living entity is a part and parcel of me, but they want to enjoy this material world with their mind and their senses. Manasisthani indriyani prakritisthani karasati. Karasati means struggling, but he's not happy. So we're not really happy, in this material world. And then, even though we are part and parcel of Krishna and we have this free will, we can choose to do what we want. If we want to fulfill any of our desires, this so-called freedom that we have. And then Krishna is actually making all the arrangements, creating all this material universe, and for us to go and try and fulfill any of our desires that we want, but then ultimately, those desires lead us to difficulties as well. So we're not really happy. But in order to function and fulfill our desires, we do get covered up with the three material modes of nature: ignorance, passion, and goodness. and still Krishna makes all these arrangements, like setting up administrators all the way from Brahma to all the living entities that are conducting all these activities in the material world. Krishna has had to make all these arrangements so that just our desires get fulfilled. So Krishna is not forcing us to do anything. He's not dictator. So that's all the administrative, even the sun, the moon, all the earthly resources are all made. Arrangements are made by Krishna. He orders the sun to stay in its orbit and give it sunshine, so that all us living entities can actually live their life and fulfill their desires. And so if it gets dark, then obviously there's a moon there. He even provides the Vedas, like instructions. The Vedic instructions are given so that we can live a life which can be happy, the society can be happy, the countries can be run properly. But still we are we are defined by nature. We like to have that defined and this so-called freedom on exercise. Just like in a constitution, every country has a constitution. Every country has laws and orders, and these are to be followed. But it's not like you can walk into any country and say, I just want to do what I want to do. There are laws, there are restrictions, but you have to follow them. But some people don't want to follow them. And that's why, we end up having to have a prison house or whatever. And some people have to be, sorted out, in other words, sorted out. So like the police, even the army, police force, in fact, the whole Varnashram system, even though it's in a corrupt form in Kali Yuga, it is still an arrangement. There are still, Varnashram system is there within our society. There is a police force and the army, which is the Kshatriyas, and then the intellectual people, although the intellectual is guided towards how to manipulate material energy rather than guide us on spiritual path. So, this whole arrangement system is arranged by Krishna. So it's actually, there's farmers to grow grain, even the Vaishyas have to. Without somebody growing grains, you wouldn't have bread on your table. We wouldn't have roti to eat, so if all these people are all engaged in all these things, but there has to be tapasya. We have to pass exams. You can't just get a job or be somebody special. But there are exams you got to pass, and you go to a job and they'll ask you, well, what sort of qualifications have you got? You want this wonderful job, what sort of qualification have you got? You got to go through interviews and all that, and there's competition. So we have to go through some tapasyas. So like a father, Krishna is making all these arrangements. Sometimes, like I remember this story, I'd make a note here that this, like a father, example is, smoking. I had a friend of mine whose son was secretly smoking and his father didn't know anything about it. So he said, well, I can smell you do smoke and all that. So I tell you what, come and sit next to me and I'll give you the whole packet of cigarettes. And I want you to smoke all of these, I don't know how many in a packet. I've never bought a packet of cigarettes. I've never smoked in my life. So he said about 20, 30, whatever, 20 cigarettes. I want you to smoke all of them right now. All of them. And just get it over with. See what you feel. So he made him smoke. After about 3 or 4, that guy was feeling dizzy and he just said, enough. He said, I can't. And he got so sick of it that he never wanted to smoke again. So his father was trying to teach him a lesson. He said, just want to go and smoke something? Okay, go and have it. But to such an extent, you get sick of it. So, but that's not the way to go about actually, but still, sometimes, we go through in order to fulfill our desires, we go to such an extent. So what would you think of someone who says, I have no father, O mother. You know, there are homeless people walking around sometimes in the street, and then they say, I have no one in my life, you know. I have had no father, no mother, nobody's ever guided me. You know, you think he's a mad person because nobody in the world comes without a father or a mother. So like that, you know, there are people who go around saying, oh, there is no such thing as Krishna or God or Father. And that's why they hang, you know, Jesus was also trying to be very kind and merciful. And they said, oh, you know, love thy father with all thy heart. All he was trying to get them to recognize there is a father, and they just crucified him. So that wasn't a nice gesture, you know, for someone in being kind. But anyway, we look at how Krishna has been, and last week we said that these are all, look at this picture here, you know, all these devatas, Krishna, and it's had to make arrangements, Brahma, Shiva, all these people have had to go through, and they all worship the Supreme Lord. They understand that Krishna is the one who is so merciful and given us all these positions in, but we have to maintain those positions, be responsible to those positions, and then at the same time deliver the services. So, like, we are indebted to all these demigods in a way, but they are not the Supreme Lord. They have to get sanction from the Supreme Lord before they can give us anything. But we have to be careful who we glorify, you know. Ultimately, it's Krishna who's to be glorified, Vishnu. So demigods are there as administrator. There is the sun and the moon, special arrangement by the Supreme Lord, so that at night we can feel happy and comfortable and look at the stars and enjoy. And there's, you know, all these earthly resources which are mentioned. So I was just going to put these in here to make us realize. But ultimately, in any way, Lord Brahma, if you look at Lord Brahma, how is Krishna? Even Lord Brahma accepts the fact that it's without Krishna's mercy, he wouldn't be able to be in the position that he is. And therefore, if you look at Lord Brahma sitting on the lotus when he first appeared, on top of the lotus, he was the first living entity who engineers the material universe. So in this verse here, Srimad Bhagavatam, maybe, you know, anybody wants to recite, and you can always do that. Maybe Riyansh.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, do you want to recite this verse? And
Yes, Prabhuji, I want to recite this verse.
yeah, go on then.
Yavanaham yata bhavo yat rupa gunakarmakaha tataiva tatva vijnanam hastute mad anugrahat.
Well done. You do it once more. Go on.
Yavanaham yata bhavo yat rupa gunakarmakaha tataiva tatva vijnanam hastute mad anugrahat.
Okay, well, wonderful. Thank you very much. You did it better than me, tell you. So, do you want to read the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go on.
All of me, namely my actual eternal form and my transcendental existence, color, qualities, and activities, let all be awakened within you by factual realization out of my causeless mercy.
So this Srimad Bhagavatam is second canto, and we've actually gone through this part where Lord Brahma is being instructed, and it's saying that Krishna is actually saying that all of me, my actual eternal form, my transcendental existence, color, qualities, activities, everything, let it all be awakened within you by factual realization. So Brahma gives to the realization, but he says, out of my causeless mercy. So Krishna is showing mercy and giving to Brahma that, you will know everything about me, all of me. And you want to read the purport? It's a little bit, but actually it just opens up a little more explanation into that. Who wants to read it? Or
I'll read it. Oh,
go on then.
yeah, I'm just getting bigger in size. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The secret of success of understanding the intricacies of knowledge of the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is the causeless mercy of the Lord. Even in the material world, the father of many sons discloses the secret of his position to the pet sons. The father discloses the confidence unto the son whom he thinks worthy. An important man in the social order can be known by his mercy only. Similarly, one must be very near to that Lord in order to know the Lord. The Lord is unlimited. No one can know him completely. But one's advancement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord can make one eligible to know the Lord. Here we can see that the Lord is sufficiently pleased with the Brahmaji, and therefore he offers his causeless mercy to him so that Brahmaji may have the factual realization of the Lord by his mercy only. Hare Krishna.
Right. So there is Lord Brahma, only by Lord's mercy that he actually is being favored. He says that, Brahmaji here is, the Lord is sufficiently pleased with Brahmaji. So only when somebody is pleased, then only he will reveal himself. So Brahma had to actually do something to gain that mercy from the Lord. And obviously, Lord is pleased with him. That's one example, how then obviously Lord Brahma, when he's fully realized everything, and then he knows the Vedas, then he has the knowledge, then he knows what his purpose is, that he has to serve Lord Krishna into making this universe, and he uses all his skills and knowledge given by Krishna to manifest all the whole universe and all the planets and all the living entities and all that. So ultimately, if Brahma hadn't done that, then we wouldn't be sitting here trying to fulfill our desires as well. So Krishna has made all these arrangements through Lord Brahma. That's one example here with these entities. Thank you for taking part and reading and all that. So here's another example. This picture is showing something, okay? Does anybody know who would be?
Narada and the Pandavas.
Yeah, Riyansh, go on. Expand on it if you want.
Is Narad Muni giving instructions to Pandavas?
Yeah, it's the Pandavas, and that's Yudhishthir. And Narad Muni is instructing, and Lord Krishna is there, and Narad Muni himself. And we earlier on, sang that song about Narad Muni, which, Navi Prabhu said, Prabhupada really loves that. So it's wonderful to actually share. But then how was Krishna in his life as Narad Muni, explaining here that not only himself, but he's saying to the Pandavas that Pandavas, you are very fortunate. You are very, that Krishna has been so merciful to you as well. So in this conversation with Narad Muni, this is happening in Canto 7. We only just finished reading chapter 15. And these are the verses from 69 to 79. And actually, they're very nice to be able to read this. What I'm going to do is, if we can get out, and I'll try and see how this works. Yeah, here. So we'll actually read these 10 verses, and when I say 69 to 70, isn't it? I'd set it all up actually, but it was here. Oops. Anyway, okay, let's just go to, I'll get it up anyway. So yeah, from 69, you can get from here. We'll just try and read the verses. You know, if anybody wants to, or Rianj wants to do the Sanskrit bit, he's most welcome to do that. But we'll just read from 69 to 79, 10 verses, and see what Narad Muni is saying about himself, and also about to Maharaj Yudhishthira, Krishna. So,
Do you want me to read the translation?
yeah, does Rianj wants to do Sanskrit?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Go on, seeing as you are going to do so 69, this bit here.
Prabhuji, can I start?
Yeah, start now. Yeah, go on, go for it.
Pura bhavam kashchid Gandharva upabarhana Namnati te mahakalpe Gandharvanam sushamata.
Once you can read the translation.
Translation?
Yeah.
Long, long ago, in another Mahakalpa, millennium of Brahma, I existed as the Gandharva, known as Upabrahana. I was very respected by other Gandharvas. Hare Krishna.
Okay, next one.
Okay, Rianj.
Rianj, go on. Don't be 10 verses. Go on. Yeah.
Rupa peshala madhurya Saugandhya priyadarshana Strinam priyatamo nityam Mata swapuralampata.
Translation. I had a beautiful face and a pleasing, attractive bodily structure, decorated with flower garlands and sandalwood bulb. I was most pleasing to the women of my city. Thus, I was bewildered, always feeling lusty desires.
Okay, so that's Narad Muni speaking to Maharaj Yudhishthira. So he's carrying on. Go on, Rianj.
Ekalareva satre tu Gandharva parasam sarasam gana Upahota vishwasam abed Harigato agayane.
Translation. Once there was a Sankirtan festival to glorify the Supreme Lord in an assembly of the demigods. And the Gandharvas and Apsaras were invited by the Prajapatis to take part in it.
Okay. 72.
Aham chagayam stadvidvan trivi parivruto gata jnanatva vishwasajantaste mani elanam sepur ojasa yahi tvam shudratam ashu nastasra krata helana.
It's a translation. Narad Muni continued. Being invited to that festival, I also joined and surrounded by women. I began musically singing the glories of the demigods. Because of this, the Prajapatis, the great demigods in charge of the affairs of the universe, forcefully cursed me with these words. Because you have committed an offense, may you immediately become a Sudra, devoid of beauty.
Okay, 73.
Tavadashyam aham jnane tatrapi brahmavadinam Shushrusayanu Praktu Aham Brahma Putratam.
Translation. Although I took birth as a Sudra from the womb of a maidservant, I engaged in the service of Vaishnava who were well versed in the Vedic knowledge. Consequently, in this life, I got the opportunity to take birth as a son of Lord Brahma.
So there you are. So Narad Muni is saying that, you know, he was cursed by the Prajapatis, and then he took a birth as a Sudra in a maid servant, but he engaged in the service of Vaishnavas, and as a result, you know, he got the opportunity to become a son of Lord Brahma. So we just talked about Lord Brahma just now, and now it's Narad Muni, who's in the line of disciplic succession actually from Brahma. So his son, he got a chance to be born as a 74. Go on. Yeah.
Dharmaste grahame deyo varnita papanashanaha ruhasto ena paravim anjasha nayanam sinam iyate.
Translation. The process of chanting the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that by this chanting, even householders, grihasthas, can very easily gain the ultimate result achieved by persons in the renounced order. Maharaj Yudhishthira, I have now explained to you the process of religion, that process of religion. So Narad Muni was explaining, he's only got 4 more verses, so go on, Rian.
Yuyamrar loke bata buri baga lokam punanam munayo biyanti ye shangrahana vastati sakshar kudam param brahma manushalingam.
Very good.
Translation.
Yeah.
My dear Maharaj Yudhishthira, you Pandavas are so very fortunate in this world that many great saints who can purify all the planets of the universe come to your house just like ordinary visitors. Furthermore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is very confidentially with you in your house, just like your brother.
So here Narad Muni is explaining that how Pandavas are so fortunate that even Krishna is confidentially living in their house, just like a brother. So Krishna is so merciful; he's just come and then living there amongst the Pandavas. We won't go into the purports. But 76, only 3 more now.
Sava ayam brahma mahad vimukriya kaivalya nirvana sukanu buddhi pariya sorodva kalu matuliya atmarhaniyo what vidhi Purascha.
Translation. How wonderful it is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Para Brahman, Krishna, who is sought by great sages for the sake of liberation and transcendental bliss, is acting as your best well-wisher, your friend, your cousin, your heart and soul, your worshipable director, and your spiritual master.
So this is how Krishna has presented himself to the Pandavas, best well-wisher, obviously, friend, cousin, your heart. So, and that's Krishna's mercy to the Pandavas. Okay, two more. Riyansh, Haribol.
Ayasya Sakshat Bhava Paramjati Rupam Diya Vastutayo Pavatnitam Monena Bhaktayo Pashema Pujita Prashidatam Eshasa Satvatam Pati.
Translation. Present here now is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose true form cannot be understood even by such great personalities as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. He is realized by devotees because of their unflinching surrender. May the same Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of his devotees and who is worshipped by silence, by devotional service, and by cessation of material activities, be pleased with us.
So here it says, the maintainer of his devotees, worshipped by silence. So obviously silence means, not to talk rubbish, and silence, to observe silence, but meditate and think and talk more about Krishna. Then there's devotional service, and by cessation of material activities. So we need to cease, stop, but may be pleased with you. So Narad Muni is instructing. And two more. Riyansh, well, just two more anyway now.
Shri Sukavacha iti devarshina proktam nishtamya pratarshaba pujayam asap suprita krishnam cha prema vihvala.
Translation. Sri Sukadev Goswami said, Maharaj Yudhishthira, the best member of the Bharat dynasty, thus learned everything from the descriptions of Narad Muni. After hearing these instructions, he felt great pleasure from within the heart, and in great ecstasy, love and affection, he worshipped Lord Krishna.
So there, Maharaj Yudhishthira then worships Krishna. He understood everything from Narada Muni. Last one now. Riyansh.
Krishna Pata Upamantriya Pujita Prajayo Muni Srutva Krishnam Param Brahma Pata Parama Vishmita.
The translation. Narad Muni, being worshipped by Krishna and Maharaj Yudhishthira, bade them farewell and went away. Yudhishthira Maharaj, having heard that Krishna, his cousin, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was struck with wonder. Hare Krishna.
So there we are. There is Krishna, and this part here, therefore, so I was sharing this with you, that, how is Krishna being so merciful to personalities, even like Narad Muni. So Lord Brahma, obviously we've covered that, and then Narad Muni and the Pandavas, and obviously here Krishna is, being very kind and merciful. So from that canto, in that chapter 15, from the summary, one may actually become successful in spiritual consciousness by the mercy of devotees, or one may fall from spiritual consciousness by being disrespectful to devotees. So Narad Muni at some point got disrespectful, but he got cursed. And then, so in this regard, Narad Muni narrated the history of how he had fallen from the Gandharva kingdom, how he was born in a Sudra family, and how by serving exalted Brahmins, he became the son of Lord Brahma and was reinstated in transit position. Then after narrating all these stories, Narad Muni praised the mercy received from the Lord by the Pandavas. Maharaj Yudhishthira, after hearing Narad, became ecstatic in love, and then Narad Muni left the place and returned to his own place. So this is what is in the poem. That's to summarize that. So that, that's how Krishna has been merciful to Narad Muni, in fact, as well. So this is another example which we can, so now I'm extending that the Narad Muni does go, so who do you think this would be? So I think we'll stop here. I'll just do this part, and then maybe in future, we'll set the scene as to how. So any picture, anybody can see what this picture is about, or who these personalities are? Or... Well done, Rianch. You beat everybody else. That's Dhruva Maharaj. And Narad Muni, obviously, is another personality that's been shown when Narad Muni instructs Dhruva Maharaj, and then Dhruva Maharaj does his penances, and then he obviously receives the mercy of the Lord, and Lord appears in front of him and fulfills his blessing. So he blessed Dhruva Maharaj with pure devotion just by appearing before him. Lord Narayan was impressed with Dhruva Maharaj's fixed austerities at a young age and faithfully following his instructions of his Guru Narad, and he blessed him with pure devotion and his own planet. So, Dhruva Maharaj received a lot of blessings and mercy from the Lord himself. So we have taken a few personalities like Lord Brahma, Narad, Pandavas, Dhruva Maharaj, and they're all receiving this mercy because they're obviously surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so what I'll do is, I think, we'll stop here, and we're seeing how we look at Gajendra also.
Gajendra, king of elephants.
And then the elephant, he also, and then this one.
Draupadi,
yes, Draupadi receives Krishna's blessing and mercy, and he comes only when she stopped depending on others, her husbands, elder Kurus, and then full surrender, Krishna protected her. And then obviously in this picture there is Putana. Yep, Putana. And although, go on, you want to say anything about Putana and Riyansh?
No, Brother, I want to say that she was a witch king.
Yeah. So, okay. Thank you very much, Riyansh, for reading all those verses. Very nice. And thank you for other readings of the text and everything, Kamakshi. And what I will do is next time, maybe if there is to be a part 4, I don't know, Nabi.
Yeah, definite.
And, the way I've taken it. But one other thing I just wanted to quickly mention is that this one, although there was special mercy being extended to these personalities, they somehow did not take advantage of it. So that's Duryodhan and Karna. Krishna was there in front of them, trying to be merciful. He tried to show them the right way, follow the religious path, and Krishna is right in front of him, but they somehow, I'll make my notes here, there are examples of times where people have disregarded Krishna's mercy. Krishna asked Duryodhan to make peace and he refused. Krishna refused to eat at his own house then. Duryodhan in the end lost everything and was totally destroyed. Same as Karna. Karna advised him to take side of the Pandavas. So Krishna did actually say, you take the side of the Pandavas. And he revealed to him that they are your brothers. But due to sentiment, attachment, he just stayed loyal to Duryodhan. And ultimately he was destroyed. So there are personalities. And sometimes we may be the same, we have to think that, Krishna is being merciful, but I'm not actually accepting that mercy, or I'm denying it, or in what way? Sometimes we defy it and go against Krishna's plans and all that. So what we can do is next time, I'll stop here. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and hopefully Krishna is being merciful enough and can do more of this sharing at times. So this sharing time. So maybe you can also think about this, in what way, when, and how Krishna has been merciful in our lives, in your own personal life. Maybe you can reflect on that. Do we recognize that? And how do we recognize it? How do we qualify, or have we actually qualified ourselves to have this mercy shower upon us? And in what way are we, taking advantage of this mercy? So, in our own personal life. And next time, if somebody wants to share, you can choose one of these personalities like Duryodhan or Dhruva or any other personalities that you might think of, that other personality like Jagai Madha, and you can make a study in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya explains and how mercy is extended to all living and including our own personal selves. So I'll stop there, Navi. Thank you very much.
Anu may have a question. Anu?
Anybody, any
Hare
questions?
Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, I have a question. Intentions. So Krish, in this slide, you showed about Karna, and Karna was basically, he was given the prestige and friendship and confidence, those kind of things by Duryodhan. So how could he just change the side from Duryodhan, who was his such a close friend, to brothers? Because the intention of a friend was more than the intention of a brother. Brothers did not show the intention. So I'm just trying to understand that situation.
Yeah, that was the dilemma that Karna faced himself. He was loyal to Duryodhan. He got, obviously, his loyalty there. When somebody says, your 99% loyalty is 100% disloyalty. So you can be as much loyal as you can, but in a way, he couldn't switch side. Obviously, that's Krishna's pastime. Somehow, he had to play that part, but he remained committed to Duryodhan, despite knowing all this, and he didn't take advantage. But ultimately, Krishna was there to try and guide him. But like I said, somehow we choose the path that we think is right, but it may not be. Karna is an example.
Prabhuji, sorry, Prabhuji. So I'm just trying to understand how we can implement that in real life. We may also come across a situation where, like this kind of a situation, and then like what's the logic to understand and then to take a decision?
Yeah, I've given examples here where Krishna is given mercy, and then there are personalities who will not take advantage. It's a personal choices that we start to make. And that's what I started off with saying, that free will, so-called free will that we have, is we have the freedom to choose.
Okay, Prabhuji. And
Yeah.
another question, Prabhuji, was about.
Avi, go on.
Yeah, that was a good
Sorry.
good answer. It's our free will. Even Kern knew that he was on the side of irreligion. He knew that Duryodhan was wrong. But yet, because he'd committed himself to Duryodhan, he couldn't break his promise to Duryodhan. Yet, on the other side was situated the Lord, who was saying to him, you won't incur any sin by breaking your promise to Duryodhan, because he is on the side of irreligion, which you know. But yet, Karn, as Madhusudana very nicely said, he's got freedom of choice. So Krishna has given us all freedom of choice, so we can make a decision. And he stuck to his guns, which is, you could say, is good in one sense, that he's loyal, but you could see it from the other side that he's actually stubborn, that he wouldn't abandon the friendship of somebody who completely destroyed his life. This is actually an example of a good man, a great man, being destroyed by just one moment's association with a not so nice person, Duryodhan. Simply one moment destroyed him. And what was that one moment? Duryodhan extended his friendship to Kern at a time he needed it the most, if you like. So he sold himself out. So the lesson from that is, do we sell ourselves out to a situation like this? No. If Krishna, if the Lord is standing in front of you and he gives an opportunity to serve him, you take that opportunity no matter what. No matter what promise you have to break, no matter what disloyal, or no matter what society thinks of us, it doesn't matter. If Krishna is standing in front of you, you abandon everything. Like the gopis, they were married, right? But Krishna, when he played the flute, the sixth note, they were all running towards him. They didn't care for anything. That's the mood of the devotee, not Kern's mood. Kern's mood was ridiculous. He really let himself down.
Yeah, in our personal life, like that, it might be a very, very small example, but we may have some friends and we become loyal to their friend. And he said, oh, come on, you can enjoy yourself today, come on, let's go out for a meal, indulge, but that is really, I might end up, being coerced into eating meat, fish, whatever nonsense. And I might be forced into that situation. Well, do I really want to go down that path or not? But my loyalty is my friend. But if the friend is there, if he understands my principles, then he'll respect that. That would I would call him a friend.
Good.
But not one who's taking me down a destructive path. He may be ignorant enough to sort of, but no, I'll stick to my principle. I can be your friend, but if you don't want to respect my principle, and if you don't want to, then sorry, I can find some other friends. And I've had to do that in my personal life. There's so many friends, who I don't have them as friends anymore, because I could see that would have led me into a situation where there was a particular situation where, do I listen to my guru or do I listen to this guy here? You know what I mean? So if the loyalty is there, then I have to put my heart where the true path, and which will be of my ultimate benefit. And Karna had that choice. His ultimate benefit would have been on the other side, but even Krishna himself couldn't, get him. So that was his choice. That's okay. Hope
Thank you,
that's
Prabhuji. Yeah, explains very well, very well. Both the Prabhujis, thank you very much.
No,
And
thank
one
you.
more question, Prabhuji, one more question about the Putna slide that you had shown.
Yeah.
Like I think couple of sessions back, we talked about Putna, that she had the intention to serve Krishna. Um so, like I'm a little bit confused with that thing. Like, did she have? If she had the good intentions to serve Krishna, then she would not have died. Like Krishna would not have killed her. Um,
Well,
or
she didn't have good intentions, did she? She went there to basically kill Krishna and poison him on the order of her brother, Kans.
But I think what Babu might be referring to is in her previous life, she was the sister, I think, of Bali Maharaj. And when she saw Vamandev,
Prabhuji, daughter of
oh
Bali
yes,
Maharaj.
Yes.
go on, Rianch, tell the story.
Prabhuji, that time when Vamana put his feet on Bali Maharaj and went in, and when Bali Maharaj went into the ground, she got angry on Vamana, and I have to take revenge. That time she took the form of Putana.
So what happened was that initially her intention was, this is such a beautiful boy. I want to feed him.
Yeah, we're going
breast
to
milk.
the Bali Maharaj. Yeah.
And then when Vamandev expanded himself and took everything away from Vali, this lady became angry at Vaman. And she said, I want to actually poison you. So what Krishna did in his Leela, Putana took birth. And he fulfilled both desires. Yes, you want to feed me? Come, feed me. You want to poison me? Poison me with your breast milk. But he's very kindly, he didn't kill her, of course, he liberated her. He gave her the position of nurse in the spiritual world, which is extraordinary.
Excuse me, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I heard somewhere that is Denakasura, the death demon, is the son of Bali Maharaj?
I didn't know that. Where did you hear that? That's interesting.
I don't know, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Not sure about that one.
Okay, Nabi.
Thank you so much.
No more
Fantastic.
questions or any comments? Then thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
You know, again, you'll have to do it in maybe 2 weeks' time, 2 weeks Saturday. So.
Okay,
Or,
there'll be, yeah, we'll have to work out the form.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Haribol, can I just ask? Sorry, it was on my mind, but a quick one. When Karan was told by Krishna, explain, and yet he failed to accept it. So does it mean that he was not absolutely 100% sure that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or did he just want to disobey him?
Good question.
Mhm.
That's a good question. I don't think he was aware that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay, I thought that because Krishna told him that he's the brother of Pandavas, then did he not question himself to say, how does he know? Or if he's a Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he should know. Or, I mean, I'm slightly confused thinking, why didn't he take the advantage of what was revealed by Krishna, and yet he failed?
Why? Stubbornness, pure stubbornness and bad association.
Okay.
But he wouldn't have known that Krishna is the Supreme. Krishna never revealed that to him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Krishna's prerogative to reveal himself to whoever he thinks he wants to reveal to.
Yeah.
And so therefore, you know, it's not that Karna would have known that that is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even like the way the Pandavas would have understood. But even Narad Muni had to explain to us, we read in there, that Yudhishthira
Mhm.
Maharaj, that you are so fortunate. Look, Krishna, the Supreme Personality, is living amongst you like a cousin, brother, that. But Pandavas, they didn't quite fully understand everything about Krishna, or probably would have, I don't know, but they're pure devotees. So that's the Leela, and that's Krishna's, it's Krishna's prerogative. That's what we mean by Krishna's mercy, that by my mercy, I'll decide how much of me I want to reveal and let myself go to.
True.
And ultimately, he gives himself complete to those devotees whom he wants to, like Radharani, and which we cannot understand sometimes, to what level. But here we are trying to be just as understanding as can, but by his mercy, that he will reveal himself slowly to us as well.
Thank you.
Okay, Haribol, Hare
I
Krishna.
think Kern was just undone by one thing. It was that bad association.
Just a bad association. Yeah.
Completely finished him.
Yeah, that's why they say association is so important.
Yeah, true.
Okay, Naviji,
Great, thank you so
Haribol,
much.
Hare Krishna to everyone. All glories to
Prabhuji,
Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru
Yes,
Maharaj.
yes.
Prabhuji, can I ask one more question if time
Sure,
permits?
sure.
Go on.
Prabhuji, about the slide that we saw about Draupadi and Krishna helping her, the question came about surrender. So, like Draupadi was trying to protect her sari by holding with one hand, and then later on, Krishna said that she did not surrender by releasing both the hand. So, surrender and responsibility. How can we understand that? Like, if we don't do any work, like suppose there is a problem, and if we don't take that responsibility and try to resolve that, instead of that, if we just give up and say, okay, whatever Krishna will do, I will accept, then it becomes like irresponsible person, like the person has not given the full effort and has not taken up that trouble of resolving the thing, either in personal life or in workplace or anywhere in the. So how can we learn this thing about the surrender? Like, at what point of time can we let go the thing and let Krishna handle the thing? Thank you, Prabhuji.
Good question. Madhusudana, you want to tackle it or shall I?
Yeah, that's interesting, because like even Lord Brahma, he had to do a lot of tapasya and earn the right to Krishna's mercy. And then Krishna said, I'll reveal myself and I'll let you know everything about myself. Same thing with Draupadi, that she was trying to depend on so many other things. Finally, she was still trying to depend on her strength. Then Krishna says, well, you haven't totally kind of surrendered to me. You only came to me finally when your own strength let you down. So we do have to put a bit of effort. And then finally, when we come to that point that this is now beyond me and I want to surrender, then that's when Krishna steps in. He won't step in till he finds that, okay, this is the moment I need to surrender. Now that is your point of surrender. But surrender doesn't mean that I'll just sit here and do nothing and I'll just surrender and, hopefully a plate of prasad will just appear in front of me. Krishna will provide it. That's a bit like saying, this Muslim, when they say, Inshallah, Inshallah, everything God willing, God willing. It's not God willing when half the time it's your plan not working, and
Hare Krishna. Hare
yeah.
Krishna. Also, Krishna helps whoever helps themselves, right? For every little thing, we cannot run to Krishna. We have to first do our effort, put our effort in anything, show our endeavor. Then Krishna will be willing to help. So if like the Draupadi, at first sight, she would say, okay, Krishna is here to help me. So she had to kind of trying to save herself. And then at the end, even in that code, there were so many great personalities. Like I said before, Krishna put everyone in confusion. Krishna wanted to show his mercy. And then first, we have to endeavor. We have to do our share. And then Krishna will step in our life. If we just sit like that, don't even think about Krishna, he will not do anything. He says, do your share. I will complete it. Right?
The mood of the devotee is that I don't want to bother the Lord.
Yes.
I want to, I will try to do my very best to resolve this, because the Lord has so many flutes to play.
The
So
whole
many
universe
rastas
is
to
on
attend.
his head. He has to take care of everything.
Why should I bother him? But in the heart, the devotee is always thinking, actually, whatever's happening is the Lord's mercy. Let me do my best and see where we go. Does that reconcile it, Anu?
Yes, Prabhuji. So like when a devotee feels that, okay, I have done my 100%, I cannot do, now let me surrender it to the God. Let me surrender to Krishna and let him take this matter.
But that's what he does all the time. Even when, whatever he does, his mood is, I'll do my best. The rest is up to the Lord. Right? He's always in that mood. So even when he doesn't succeed, he will accept that as the Lord's mercy. This is the kindness of the Lord. So even when it fails, actually the mood of the devotee is, thank you, my Lord. Because from failure is the path to succeeding, to get too close to you. So the devotee will never see inauspicious or auspicious, right or wrong, failure or success, because he's always focused on the Supreme Lord. It doesn't matter to him because he knows he's not this body. So whatever happens to this body, to this life, it doesn't matter to him. He'll still endeavor because it's his duty. It's his, he's going to set the example of doing whatever it needs to be done. But if he fails, so what?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Nice, challenging questions.
Yeah. Well, that's why when we sing some of these bhajans, these acharyas are really begging for Krishna's mercy. And, we have to be in the mood, that Krishna is so merciful. And we depend on that mercy, really, whatever form it's going to come. Okay, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So nice discussion today. Now, can everybody see this? Can anybody see this? Are you able to see this, Karuna?
Yeah, I can see it.
Ah, good.
Yes,
So, okay, you can take it away, please, Karuna.
Hare Krishna.